Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and in today's video, we're going to discuss if the Bitcoin crypto bull run has been canceled. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment. You got to click the bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live for my daily TA live stream called All in the Charts, where I take your TA questions. If you appreciate the content, make sure to follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TradingView. It's one word. Whoop. Crypto Bull God. Just a quick disclosure that none of what I am sharing with you is financial advice. I'm simply looking to educate and to help others through sound, logical TA content. We're all big boys and big girls, so we can make our own personal financial decisions. With that being said, let's get into it. All right, guys, we are going to focus on only two charts for this video. Let me make this point perfectly clear. I do not believe that the quote-unquote bull run in Bitcoin and crypto has been canceled. In fact, if you've been following my content on my daily live stream, All in the Charts, you got to click that bell icon for all notifications to know when I go live each and every single day. And I've also hit on this in some of my published videos. One could argue that the quote-unquote bull run either began in December of 2018, yeah, hard to believe, right? Or it really began in November of 2022, depending upon how macro you want to get in perspective. Predominantly, what I wanted to focus our attention on for purposes of this video is the DXY. As we know, the DXY, the dollar index, has a inverse correlation to equity markets as well as crypto, meaning they tend to move in opposite directions. Now, that's not day for day moving in opposite directions, but overall the trends tend to move in opposite directions. One goes up, the other goes down, and vice versa. And I have seen a lot of conversation that I've sort of chuckled at pertaining to the strength in the DXY. Now, if you really have, this is sort of a plug for my live stream All in the Charts, but this is also me being keeping things 100% with you. If you really have been tuning into that live stream All in the Charts, then you would know, you would have been knowing for weeks, many weeks, that I spoke to this 105, 106 region, okay? 105, 106 region, which is right up here. Why did I flip the 50 off? We'll flip 50 simple moving average. We'll talk about that in a moment, which is the purple line. I said that if we likely bounced up here, we would face resistance at the 50 simple moving average, which at the time that we talked about it was right around this area at like the 104, 105 area, okay? We would face resistance there because moving averages, once you fall below them, tend to act as areas of resistance. Not only that, but we have major resistance in between 105 and 106. So I said to everyone on my live stream repeatedly, do not be surprised if the DXY bounces. We've been bouncing hard, and we come up to this region. But there's a ton of price confluence between the 50 simple moving average and prior areas of price confluence, if we look left, okay, that I find it highly unlikely that we would go anywhere above 106. And if we zoom out on the chart here, just to keep perspective, okay, a high, a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and a lower high. We would have to push well north of 106 to begin to reverse this trend. Then we'd have to pop above 108 to reverse here and pop all the way above 112, 113 area to start popping up here to entertain new all-time highs in the DXY. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a probability for everything, but I do not see that happening. The other thing that goes in our favor in terms of a bearish narrative on the DXY, which is bullish because of that inverse relationship, that is bullish for equity markets as well as crypto, is we have this 50 SMA that not only flattened out here, but as you can see, it has been rolling over, right? What I am anticipating is we could see a bump up as high as 106, maybe, but we're just going to continue going lower at the very least to the mid 90 range on the DXY. And I've spoken to that on my live stream before in terms of where I ultimately could see the DXY bottoming. Now, where would I start to become concerned? I would start to become concerned on the DXY if we get candle body closes. First off, above 106 would be a huge yellow flag. But the red flag would be if we start to really push up towards this 108 area. If we start to push up to the 108 area, we're going to have to give serious consideration to the DXY regaining momentum in the charts. But I do not see that happening. Right now, we're literally doing exactly what I have spoken to for weeks. We are still in the midst of a correction within the dollar index. This thing has not finished correcting, in my opinion. We're going to be seeing it go lower to areas I've targeted all the way down towards potentially this 92 area that I've spoken to, okay? Now, for purposes of this video, the other thing I thought that would be helpful to speak to, just one more chart, although the DXY was the main thing I wanted to focus on here again, guys, because I have just seen so much chatter about the DXY when it rolled over and broke 100 and we were, slightly below 100, it looks like at 99.6, and we bounced all the way up to it looks like 105 here. There was so much talk on all these prominent influencers on Twitter Spaces and YouTube videos and on Twitter about how the dollar was exhibiting so much strength. But guys, if you've been tuning into my channel, you know this was totally expected. Okay, we could go even higher, again, to 106, but I'm not anticipating those levels to be broken. But one other chart I thought would be helpful to look at, and again, I've spoken to several weekly charts on Bitcoin that have given me pause for concern in terms of September having further downside volatility. Again, I've spoken to that short or intermediate bearish price action on Bitcoin before we start popping back up, have a sharp recovery. And that macro perspective, that bullish thesis with that fifth wave is still intact. I've spoken to all this stuff in prior videos. There's one other chart that has just turned bearish that I want to speak to here and my thoughts on it. So as you can see today, actually, at the time of recording on Tuesday, the 12th of September, we have gotten here, if I move this descending line, we have gotten a death cross on the daily on Bitcoin. Now, I would implore you not to click on videos with that clickbait fear porn, with the crazy looking faces and the fear tactics that prominent influencers use to have you click on their videos. Hear me out here. I'm going to go through just the logical content here, the facts and the charts very quickly with you, and then share my thoughts. Yes, we have a death cross. Yes, this is not bullish. And yes, we are clearly in the midst of a downtrend here. I have descending resistance here we need to get above, right? This bounce today that I'm seeing in price does nothing for me. Doesn't give me any conviction that we're seeing a turnaround until we really start to pop our heads above this 200 simple moving average, which is all the way up at 27,600, okay? So yeah, I'm not convinced this bounces anything until we start to get back above levels of 27,600 on the daily. But let's take an honest look at the empirical data in terms of what the death cross could mean, okay? So could we see much more significant downside in price? If we go back in time, you see we had a death cross here. We ultimately bounced back up, and then we completely rolled over in 2022. So that was very bearish. If we go to 2019, you can see we eventually popped our heads back above, but we had our huge crash in March of 2020, that flash crash, and then eventually went on to make new all-time highs in Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto markets. So we were short intermediate term bearish, and then we turned massively bullish. Here, and that is important to point out, this was a shorter to intermediate time frame bearish. Okay, don't lose sight of that. This was not some huge, massive bearish event. This was a flash crash. We quickly recovered and went on to set new all-time highs. This death cross here ultimately was a huge correction within Bitcoin. This was back in 2018 after the blow-off top. Now this, interestingly, keep this fact in mind, this was in 2015. We got a death cross very quickly came out of it. It was a non-event, and we went on to make huge all-time highs in 2017, that blow off top. This was a death cross monumental correction in price. This was back in 2014, and that's it. So the odds, I would say the odds are sort of, they're mixed, right? What I get out of this, just unbiasedly evaluating this data, the number of occurrences that we've seen a death cross, some of the occurrences we've seen a monumental correction. Other times it's sort of been a non-event. Okay, if we looked at 2019 and we looked at 2015, which really was a head fake non-event, I would say it's sort of split. Obviously, given my view, macro, where we're at, and not to mention the fact that we just underwent a massive correction, which was the part of an expanded flat correction I've spoken to many times, I ultimately think this death cross is going to be a non-event. Yes, I still am leaning that we're going to have more downside this month. Okay, we have not bottomed yet for this month, in my opinion. But I think we're going to have a rather sharp recovery, not to that degree, but a rather sharp recovery up, and we're going to finish strong in the fourth quarter. We'll have to see. But again, this death cross, we just unequivocally went through, and I proved to you, occurrence 1, massive correction, okay, massive correction here. Occurrence 2, non-event. Occurrence 3, big correction. Occurrence 4, non-event, so we're 50-50. And occurrence 5, this was a big correction. So really, 2 out of 5 were a non-event, and the other 3 occurrences were a large correction. So this is occurrence 6. I think it's going to be more of a non-event. It's sort of a 50-50 placement in time based upon where the quote-unquote cycle is at, but something to be aware of. Guys, if you appreciated the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment. You have to click the bell icon for all notifications to know when videos like this go live, as well as to participate in my daily TA live stream called All in the Charts, where I take your TA questions. Share what you liked about the video. Share what you didn't like about the video. I always appreciate your feedback. And until next time, everybody, let's all spread awareness and let's carry the education forward.
So what you gonna do, $5 on Crypto Bull Guy and his crypto maniacs and the entire cryptocurrency market run wild on you?